All right, we're joined by Roy Bellamy, Meadowlark Media, Dan Lebitard Show, hockey show on Meadowlark. What's up, Roy?
Hey, fellas. Yes, I'm still angry about. We were talking about jerseys before we got on here. I'm angry about the Jazz changing the uniforms back to the '98 uniforms, and and I'm we mentioned the Blues uniforms, and I was upset when they changed it in the the '96 season. I think they changed it and added red to the uniforms. I'm like, it was blue and yellow the entire existence. Why are you putting red in the uniforms? And then they changed it back. So it hasn't been red since. Of
It
course,
looks
they
so
brought it back
good,
often.
though.
I
Buddy,
love those
No,
ones.
it looked amazing.
They're
no.
perfectly shitty. Those ones, and the
Well,
primary
yeah.
colors are important to people. I'm surprised
Yeah,
that I'm surprised that you have such hatred. I think you said terrible for the Jazz
terrible.
new uniforms.
Terrible.
That's surprising to me. I want the Utah team to copy those Jazz uniforms and do purple, baby blue, and black. What say you?
Yes, I agree. I agree with that. But I don't want the mountain. No mountains. Let's get the mountains out of here. What
Like the only
Jazz
thing that anybody can say about Utah.
Right, but there needs to be something that actually is somewhat representative of the Utah experience, other than making white one of their colors.
True.
Okay, well,
Like-
let's not make the mountain uniform the primary. Let's make it the alternate. And because what does Jazz have to do with mountains, really? I mean, come on.
What does Jazz have to do with Utah? That's the bigger question.
Touche.
But
You got me
I'll
there.
say this on the Blues. The Blues are one of the teams that I generally trust to never make a jersey that is going to offend me. Red Wings are on that list.
What about the one that has the instruments all over it?
Super cool behavior.
the trumpet.
Yeah,
those are-
that
yeah.
one is horrible.
It was
No,
incredible.
yeah,
They're like, when you're listening to blues music, the first instrument you think of, trumpet. Give me
Yeah.
some of that blues trumpet. Make it swing.
Exactly.
Generally, like all their outdoor jerseys have been good. All of their primary jerseys over the years have been good, but nobody can really touch the Red Wings.
Hey, check this out.
What's that?
St. Lubega. Trumpet.
Oh, that's right.
Nailed it.
Little
Nailed
Mambo
it.
number 5 for you, huh?
Oh,
You know
yeah.
that he's German, like Leon Draisaitl?
I did not know that. That is new. That is news to me. German, huh?
He's
He
yeah.
is German, and his last name is Lubega.
Yeah, it just
His
doesn't
first
make
name
any
is not
sense.
Lou. His
You know,
full
it's
name,
probably-
Lubega.
That's probably one of those situations where he was born on an army base. And
Correct.
Like,
that is
Bruce Willis.
that is 100% true. Born on an
Hey,
army
hey,
base.
Do you know what?
Thank you.
Do you know what Jason Derulo's last name is?
Derulo.
It's Derulo, and it's spelled DESRE, like LEAUX. But he just makes it Derulo, breaks it down.
Yeah,
Like
well, it
Louis
looks
CK,
better.
except less problematic.
Yeah, exactly. It looks better. It doesn't look as French. That's why he did it.
Okay, well, you're a Panthers guy. You're a big Panthers guy. As I said, you do the hockey show. How do you feel about your Panthers as they reach the Stanley Cup final for the second straight year? You feeling cocky? Do you feel like this is their time?
Well, yes, I do. I'm cocky. Yes, I kind of predicted this throughout the season. I've been correct so far in the playoffs as well, as far as games won, or series won, I should say, in the games. But
Whoa.
I really should not be as cocky, considering that we're practically playing the Rangers offense plus two of the best players in the entire universe currently. So I shouldn't be as cocky, but if you saw what the Panthers did to the Rangers as far as limiting them shots and their defense, I can say that, hey, we got a significant chance to win this one in 6. So that is my prediction, that the Panthers are going to win in 6. And there's a lot of, it's basically 50-50 from all the predictions that I've seen. A lot of 6s for the Panthers, a lot of 7s for the Panthers, a lot of 6s for the Oilers, a lot of 7s for the Oilers. So it looks like it's down the middle. But if you look at the odds in this one, it's looking like it's going to be the Panthers' favor. So I want to say I'm too cocky, but I would say I'm very confident.
There's two differences that stand out to me with this year's Panthers team versus last year's Panthers team in the Cup final. One, they're alive. Like Matthew Tkachuk is not currently dying,
fair.
which is very, very big for them. And two, I never would have thought I would have said this a week ago, but like they do have Vladimir Tarasenko, and Vladimir Tarasenko
get outta
is
here.
actually doing something. Like, are you guys feeling some life off of that? The bigger one should be that Gus Forsling has
Correct.
become like the best defenseman in the NHL maybe right now.
Yeah.
But do you think that they're better suited now than they were a year ago?
Absolutely. They have the experience. I mean, they learned a lot from last season and how they can go about things here. I mean, it's a completely different team that they're playing, but they do have the experience and they have the health. And during the last series against the Rangers, Vladimir Tarasenko was very, very active, especially defensively. It was very noticeable how well he did defensively, and of course, he got the game-winning goal in Game 6 against the Rangers. So, yeah, I'm very happy with Tarasenko's playoff effort right now, and of course, he does have the experience as well. I mean, they call him the professor, the hockey professor in the locker room. So, yeah, he's teaching them a thing or two. So, health, however, that is extremely significant. Everybody is healthy. Even Sam Bennett, who came off of that hand injury after the blocked shot,
I
seeing
thought you
him.
meant the punch.
No, oh, come on, yeah, it's a rabbit punch. I can admit
It was
that
bad behavior. You can't do it. Got away with one a little bit.
You weren't
you got-
you weren't sneaking by me without me making that joke. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, well, Brad Marchand even excused it. I mean, he said this is the playoffs. You're supposed to hurt people. So yeah,
Oh, is that good if Brad Marchand supports your behavior, though? We're a Brad Marchand
Yes.
show.
Oh, you want that guy?
Well, because it happened to him.
Interesting.
because it happened to him. That's
That's
why
your
I'm
character
saying
witness?
That is my character witness. Is the actual guy, the actual victim.
The victim?
The
You
actual
said-
victim is my character witness.
You said Tarasenko is the hockey professor. You know who I think is the hockey professor?
Who's that, DJ?
This guy, because he loves hockey and he looks like the professor from And One.
Oh,
Remember the
professor? I wouldn't say I look like the professor, but
Remember?
Get on the court over there with that Marlboro.
you
shirt
white,
on.
you Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
That energy.
you white and small, you Ben Affleck.
Yeah, exactly.
Professor.
I mean, there are differences for sure from this year's Panthers team and last year's Panthers team. I also think a big thing to not ignore is that there's a difference in the opponent. Like the Panthers are the adult team in this matchup, and the Oilers are kind of the new assholes. So that could be a big factor as well. So I did see earlier you threw some respect on Connor McDavid's name, and I saw this morning you quote tweeted a columnist from Florida, Greg Cote, who besmirched the name.
That's your boy, right? That's your coworker.
Yes, Greg Cody is our Tuesday guest co-host on the Dan Le Batard show with Stu Gatz.
I would love to read this quote for the people who are unaware of it.
Read it.
It's a poll
Yes,
from
I can hear
a
it again.
column
Go
that he
ahead.
wrote. Connor McDavid is overrated. Boom. He puts up big, impressive stats. Yes, fine. But should he really be called generational, in quotes, called the best player in the sport, when in 9 seasons he has yet to lead his team to a Stanley Cup? He has the requisite nicknames, McJesus, the chosen one, but he has not proved beyond stats transcendent, able to lift a franchise to ultimate heights. Mick overrated. And then you quote tweeted with, for fuck's sake. So, would love your take on that.
Well, today on the Dan Le Batard show with Stu Gatz, it was Stu Gatz only today. He came on and amended his statement and said that he was an underachiever.
All right, well, he sounds like a coward and a pussy because you can't write that
come
and
on,
then
man.
appear on a show and be like, you can walk it back immediately.
Also, though,
It was bad. It was really bad, man.
I mean, I do love I'm a huge Oilers fan, and I love Connor McDavid. I think Connor McDavid is legitimately the greatest of all time. But I do respect best player is overrated. Boom. I would have made that just the poll quote. I would have made that. I hope that was the lead to his story.
I hope so.
Connor McDavid is
I
overrated.
think-
New graph. Boom. New graph. Then say some other shit.
I think it was actually. I think it was the lead to the story.
Fantastic lead.
It's just Connor McDavid overrated, boom, and then line rushes.
Right, yeah. Then like a kicker, yeah, or something at the end. Do you fear Connor McDavid, though? Because I'll tell you what, like the way that the Panthers play, I think the Oilers kind of are a good foil for them. And I think that when the Panthers do step up at the blue line and let guys get behind them, which has happened throughout the playoffs, but it hasn't really hurt the Panthers too much. If that's Connor McDavid getting behind them, it's a lot scarier than when it's, I was saying the other day, like when it's Pavel Zacha. So, like, do you fear McDavid?
I mean, of course I do. He's the best player on the planet. I mean, like the Panthers defense are going to have to bottle them up, and that's going to be a tough task. And the Panthers offensively loves to have their defensemen pinch in, and sometimes they get out of position. That's what lead to breakaways. That lead to transition opportunities, and it did kill them during the Rangers series because they were able to get back and back check, and especially when you have a guy like Alexander Barkov and everything. But yeah, you're gonna have to pick your spots with this team because that can come back to bite you in the ass if you give up odd man rushes like that, and the first line's out there. Oh boy, yeah, you're gonna have to hope that Sergei Bobrovsky's on his game, but I trust the Panthers defense. I trust them back checking. I trust them getting back on defense. I trust Sam Reinhart as well, getting back there, and of course Gustav Forsling as well. Aaron Ekblad, hopefully he'll be able to get there, but he's been injury prone throughout his career here in Florida, so speed's not there. But I would hope that the Panthers defense would get back and hopefully stop whatever transition opportunity that the Oilers would have.
What how much have you seen the hockey fandom in Florida shift over the past few years in the interest in the Panthers?
Well, I would say that the lower bowl at Amerant Bank Arena, the season tickets have sold out. So yeah, it's growing. And that's what happens when you have a stable franchise that's winning. And I can tell you that I say we like I'm on the damn team or something, but it's been 5 consecutive playoff appearances. Beforehand, it was it was 5 playoff appearances in 25 years. This team's 30 years old. They've been to the playoffs 10 times. So, yeah, 5 consecutive playoff appearances I'm 40 years old going on now, and I've watched this team for 30 years. That's incredible to me. And now them going to the 3rd Stanley Cup final, back-to-back second time in a row now. Yeah, I think they're jumping on board, and they are hopefully going to see a winner here.
I think if you're a 30-year Florida Panthers fan, you absolutely get to use we because you have been through some shit and you got in on the ground floor. Like that franchise and that fan base were considered punching bags for decades, and that's no longer the case, which is great for the league, great for the fan base. So yeah, you can absolutely say we. Nobody's going to give you shit for it, but I absolutely expect to see some of the old tired, like, oh, Florida, like, bullshit responses, especially going up against a Canadian team. Are you bracing for that?
Yeah, it's going to be a wild scene up there. I would say everybody except for Calgary is cheering on for the Oilers right now. But I can say as a 30-year Panthers fan and now a guy who's actually covering the team, I suffered through the Mike Keenan years. I've seen some shit. I've seen them trade away Roberto Luongo in his prime. I've the Carlos Scratchtons of the world on this team. I mean, come on. I've been through some shit. And now,
I hadn't heard his name in 100 years, but go on.
Yeah, but now I crawled through a river of shit and made it out clean on the other side, like Andy Dufresne. I am clean. My hands are up in the air like, yes, I'm happy now.
Who is your favorite Panthers player as a kid? I was a Van Beesbrook boy.
I love Paul Laws. I love Peter Royal. I love the guys who stuck up for the players. I love the enforcers. Bill Lindsay is one of my favorite players as well. The grinders. This team, if you look at the 96 Stanley Cup team, those were grinders. Those were overachievers as opposed to Connor McDavid, apparently, according to Greg Cody. Those were overachievers. That team should not have gone as far as they went. They shouldn't have gone past Philadelphia, let alone Pittsburgh. I mean, it was an amazing run by that team. So yeah, that 96 team is full of players that like David Lowry. I mean, Mike Huff. I mean, Tom Fitzgerald. Tom Fitzgerald is the one that won the Pittsburgh series for the Panthers. So yeah, I mean those are the guys that I love the most because that's what I grew up on.
So does it feel weird though to now when you're in a cup final be favored? Like last year, miracle Ted, like Cinderella story and everything. Like now, you as Pete said, like the Oilers are the what do we really do with these guys, and the Panthers are the team where everyone's like, well, their experience, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, when the Panthers traded for Matthew Tkachuk, and I saw the odds on them potentially winning the Stanley Cup, that's when I got surprised. Like, what? Like, really? Like, what? Really? Okay. And then all of a sudden, they get the surprise season last year, and we're just happy to be there. And then you look at the odds coming into this season, like they're favored to win the entire thing. No. Like, no, not in my life did I ever expect that. And I'm old now.
Hell yeah.
When you look at like the pillars of this year's team and kind of this current group, like a Barkov, like a Tkachuk, when you consider like what a cup would mean to their legacy, do you think they need it? Do you think that some of these guys are already on the Rushmore of Florida Panthers players? Like, how much is on the line for some of these guys individually?
Well, Alexander Barkov is statistically the best Panther of all time. Goals, assists, points, games played. Like, he's number one at this point. I would think that for everybody else, yes, I think winning the cup they would never have to pay for another drink in this town ever again situation. Like it, but yeah, as far as people on the Mount Rushmore, I mean, Roberto Luongo, that's number 2, basically. And then you could fight for 3 and 4. You know, Pavel Bure, you can say he's on there maybe, but he's only here for a couple of years, won a couple of Maurice Richard trophies, and yeah, he was out to the Rangers. You know, maybe you could put him on there, but you know, that's about it. Like, I personally wouldn't put John Van Beesbrook on there for personal reasons because we all know why.
Not the best.
Not the best.
Trouble there.
But, yeah, a little bit of trouble there. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Now Matthew Tkachuk is going to end up being on there. So yeah, I think we found out 4. There you go.
I mean, I think Tkachuk has obviously been the face of so much of this. Obviously, just that they made that trade when they were in the position they were in. How much, though, is Paul Maurice also the face of this? Because we watch his press conferences every day and say, it wasn't as funny as the people in attendance were laughing. But, like, he's a goofball up there. He's also a coach who's been there been around for a million years. Is he embraced down there for all he's doing?
Yes. And I would say that him being a goofball in these press conferences kind of relaxes people, you know, because I'm sure that after a couple of losses during these playoffs, maybe there could have been cause for panic for most people. But when you go up there and you're making jokes, and it's just a relaxing feeling that, okay, the head coach of this hockey team does not feel that amount of pressure that he can just be curt and mean to the journalists who are in there. Now he can make jokes. Okay, well, if he's not worried, why should I be worried? I mean, so yeah, I think especially him coming in, like, he set the tone for this team. He during training camp, this is why this team is so well conditioned, because he worked the hell out of this team in training camp. And now, as they said, the work is not over. Now they got 4 wins to go, and they're well conditioned to do it.
I love that, but I also want to check in with you after game 2. If the Panthers drop the first 2 at home and he gives a tight 5 after game 2, I want to know your honest reaction to it, because if you're like any sports fan I know, you'd be fucking losing your shit if they're down 2-0, have a horrible game, and he gets up there and he's like, hey,
breaking out props.
You know, the traffic in this city is something else, huh? I'm trying to get from A to B, and I end up at F. What's with that, everybody?
Yeah, it would be a disaster probably. Going down 0-2, having to go back to Edmonton,
and he's doing material.
He's doing material. Yeah, that
gets no respect to the Edmonton airport. Shit like that. We were talking about jerseys off the top. We want to do a uniform grade for this round. We've done it with a few of the past rounds. How do you like this jersey matchup? In general, what do you think of Panthers jerseys? Because there's a little controversy around here. Sean and I like them. They're not Pete's favorite. No. What do you think of the current Panthers jerseys?
When they unveiled it, I was at the unveiling, and when they brought it out, I saw the shield first. I was like, "Huh, that actually looks like a panther," because the original panther just looked like a cartoon, silly little thing, which we all loved. But this actually looks like a panther overlooking whatever he's surveying there, and it's a shield. It's like a military shield. So I was like, you know what? This looks nice. To me, it looked nice. I wasn't too keen on the horizontal stripe at the beginning, but it grew on me. And then when you look at the back of the jersey, the font that they use for the name, which is the same as the font that they're using on top of the shield there, I was like, okay, it's a good jersey. I like it. And of course, the Edmonton Oilers jersey, that's just old school right there, man. And I love throwbacks. I love old school. So yeah, this is a very, very good jersey matchup here. I'm very happy about it.
I'll even say I like this jersey matchup more than I liked the Panthers and Rangers, because the Panthers and Rangers matchup kind of fucked with me because it was slightly different shades of red and blue.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
unless you're colorblind, you're not going to confuse orange and red too badly.
Somebody did say in the chat in today's episode, they were like, I wish I could pull off orange pants like Pete. I was like, these are not orange. You should get your eyes checked.
That's how they learn.
Yeah. So I'm
trying to figure out what color they are actually. what color
I
are
don't
they?
dislike the Panthers' current uniforms. I think they're very inoffensive. I do like the font. And you are right in the shield looking military-esque. You're right in it looking more like a panther. I just think that those ones are so much better and have so much more personality to them. Although that's coming from me, who's not a Florida Panthers fan and doesn't really care about the pain attached to those kind of uniforms, where I imagine that maybe there's you would like to start a new chapter with some new uniforms.
Yeah. Well, if you look at center ice at Emirates Bank Arena, they have a leaping panther. That looks more like an actual panther than the original uniforms. And we've been saying down here before they unveiled the current uniform set that maybe they should update the panther to make it look more realistic. So they haven't created an alternate jersey with that panther yet. I say maybe they should do it. Now, last season, they had a alternate jersey was sky blue, and they had the old shoulder crest, which is the sun with the hockey stick and the palm tree, and everybody scooped that one up. Everybody
I love that one.
That one was excellent. People were saying, "Hey, you know what? Maybe that should be the permanent home jersey." Like, no, maybe we should keep that, but no, not the permanent home jersey.
I like the color scheme. I like the color and the pop of that. I didn't love the logo being used on the chest. Like, that is very much a shoulder patch to me. But
yeah,
I like the base of that uniform a lot.
I also think that with the Panthers, they probably, you could speak better to this than I can, Roy, like there's already a little bit of judgment that's being passed from teams and cities to the north of like, wait, why is there a hockey team in Sunrise, Florida? Like, if you make it too cartoony, you're giving the haters ammunition, which I don't care. Like, I think that like that's exactly how I want a Florida Panthers jersey to look, but I feel like the Panthers aren't really afforded the opportunity to get as fun with it because people will say like, see, that's some Mickey Mouse shit.
I mean, you could say the same thing about Vegas, but like that's worked in Vegas's favor where they're
Vegas
we're from it. They're unapologetically from Vegas.
Yeah, well, for those fans in those northern cities, why is there a hockey team in Nashville? Why is there a hockey team in Tampa? Why is there a hockey team in Dallas? Why is there a hockey team in Anaheim or San Jose or what used to be Phoenix? Like, why, or Arizona, I should say.
Well, there's
why is there a hockey team in Utah? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why is there a hockey team in Utah now? Like, they're trying to expand. I mean, give me a break here. The guy grow the sport somehow, right? So,
and
yes.
I mean, players like going to Florida to play too. So I don't subscribe to any of that. Like, why is there a team there? Even like when I've gone to games there, I'm not as upset with the location as a lot of people are when they go down.
With the location. I'm not into the conversation like why is there a team there? I'm into the conversation is why is there an arena there?
Because you got to hit Banana Republic outlet store right before and after. Easy peasy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I would like for them to move east, go to Fort Lauderdale, next to the port area. But yeah, I mean, they moved from Miami. They moved from Overtown up to Fort Lauderdale, and then the owner sold the team. That's how that works. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a big arena that's owned by the county, and they're using it. It's a big arena. It's like a 19,000 seat arena. That is a huge space, and now fans are filling it up. So I'm just happy that we have an arena, and because we have a team here. That's pretty much it.
Hell yeah. You have Panthers in 6?
Yes, Panthers in 6.
Ending it in Edmonton. I don't like that. That makes me, as an oil man, that makes me feel very nervous, especially if you've gotten every series right so far. Although Emily Kaplan famously had gotten every series right before last round. She had the Stars beating the Oilers. So streaks are meant to be broken.
Yeah, streaks are definitely meant to be broken. I think I got every series in the first round right as well. So I'm very happy. I was very proud about that one. But yeah,
I did
yeah,
not. I think I got like 3 first round series wrong.
Well, I mean, every single guest I think that we've had to this point leading up to game 1 has picked the Panthers. So,
yes. Well, every guest we've had before an Oilers series, I think, has picked against the Oilers in their upcoming series. But honestly, obviously, I am rooting very heavily for the Oilers to win. But I'll be happy with elements of Matthew Tkachuk being a Stanley Cup champion, Kyle Okposo being a Stanley Cup champion, Florida just like getting a cup with what their last 5 years has looked like. I just think that's been a fun journey they've taken. And if it ends with a cup, I would have liked it to happen against a different team, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Roy, thanks so much for what's that?
And can you imagine Matthew Tkachuk winning a Stanley Cup against the Edmonton Oilers?
He would chuck it into the stands.
I mean, Matthew Tkachuk's the summer of Tkachuk. If he does win a cup with him and Keith and Brady, the content that you'd get out of that would be quite incredible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh,
that might be the biggest reason to root for Florida as a neutral fan.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody except for Canada, except for Calgary, is doing that right now. Is cheering for the Oilers. So I would like to say that America's.
You should want to win at home because because obviously the scene on the ice when a team wins the cup is amazing, whether it's home or on the road. But if they win in that building and there's just fucking rats flying the whole time, that would be an amazing aesthetic.
You could fill the Stanley Cup, the bowl. I will be willing to guarantee this. If they win it in Florida on home ice, we will get a picture of the Stanley Cup, the bowl filled with rats.
Any of them live or all?
Oh, they might ship one in there.
Depends how sanitary that building's crew is.
I mean, worse things have been in the Stanley Cup.
That's true.
Yeah, very much so. And I would hope that we will that the Panthers will win at home because that means I want to have to travel to Edmonton.
Are you going to? Are you traveling for the Cup final?
At game 6, at least, unless of course it's 3-0 Panthers going into game 4, then I'm going to have to expedite that thing. But game 6 is on the books right now. And I'm hoping that we don't have to play a game 6. I'm hoping the Panthers win in 5, so I have to do a layover in Denver or something. You know, that's a long flight, man.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine the people that have to do it. Potentially 3 times during one series. Yeah. Outrageous.
Poor Emily Kaplan. I feel so bad for her doing that.
I did the Boston-Vancouver one, and it was at the end of not only do you have to do that, but I was covering Boston, so I was at the end of a playoff run anyway. I was exhausted from doing all the trips before it, and even on the first leg of it, I wanted to die, and then I had to do 3 more because it went to 7 games. Insane, but it's still insane. At the end of it, no matter how many games it goes, like Emily Kaplan, I know for a fact is going to be like, God, this is fucking cool.
Yeah,
and she'll be like, I need a year of sleep, and at some point, hopefully, like she gets it, but. Yeah, this is going to be a fucking awesome series. I don't think it's going to be a sweep for either side. I think it's going to be pretty lengthy. So get ready to speak Edmontonese, buddy.
Edmontonian.
Edmontonian, yes. All right, Roy, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
DJ Pete, thank you for having me.
We all silly like the mayor.